Have you ever wondered what it took for Scotland to become independent? Picture a time when kings and queens reigned supreme, and the fate of an entire nation could be decided by a single dispute over a throne. Let's take a step back to the late 13th century, when Scotland was a kingdom in turmoil. The spark that ignited the flame was the death of King Alexander III. With his demise, a power vacuum was created, and the question arose, who was to ascend the Scottish throne? In this uncertain time, an unexpected player entered the game. The English king, Edward I, was invited to arbitrate. A seemingly innocuous request, you might think. After all, what could go wrong with a little help from a neighbor? Yet, Edward's intervention was far from benign. Rather than mediating, he saw this as an opportunity to extend his reign. And thus, he decided to assert his authority over Scotland. A move as cunning as it was audacious. This was the beginning, the genesis of the First War of Scottish Independence. It was not a struggle born out of a desire for conquest, but rather a fight for survival, a fight for the right to self-governance, for the right to be free. But the Scots, they were a proud people, not easily subjugated. They were not about to let their homeland be taken away to be ruled by a foreign king. Their spirit was indomitable, their resolve unshakable. The stage was set for a struggle that would echo through the annals of history. But the Scots weren't about to let their country be taken without a fight. This was just the beginning. Now, let's delve into the heart of the rebellion, the Battle of Stirling Bridge. In the year of our Lord 1297, the winds of revolt began to stir in Scotland. The torchbearers of this uprising were two Scottish nobles, Andrew de Moray and William Wallace. Both men, though of different backgrounds, were united in a common cause, to resist the English attempts to control their beloved homeland. The rebellion, although seemingly an insurmountable task, started to take shape under their leadership. The Scots, fueled by a potent mixture of fierce patriotism and an indomitable spirit, rallied to their call. This culminated in one of the most significant battles in Scottish history, the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Now, the Battle of Stirling Bridge wasn't just a test of might. It was a testament to the strategic brilliance and the courage of the Scottish forces. The English army, confident in their superior numbers, marched towards the narrow bridge crossing the River Forth. Little did they know, they were walking right into a carefully laid trap. The Scots waited patiently, allowing the English to cross the bridge. Once half of the English forces were on the Scottish side of the river, the Scots struck with the ferocity of a storm. The English, trapped and unable to maneuver, were quickly overwhelmed. This cunning strategy, coupled with the audacious courage of the Scottish warriors, led to a resounding victory for Scotland. The underdogs had triumphed, and the tide of the war began to turn. This pivotal victory shifted the momentum of the war, but the struggle was far from over. With the English forces pushed back, Scotland had a chance to breathe, and William Wallace took the reins. Wallace was not just a warrior, but a statesman, and he knew that for Scotland to thrive, it needed more than just military victories. So he turned his attention to governance, to the task of rebuilding a nation torn apart by war. He focused on re-establishing trade ties with Europe, understanding the vital importance of economic stability and growth. Wallace knew that prosperity was the key to independence. He sought to strengthen Scotland's economy, to build a nation that was self-reliant and robust. He worked tirelessly to re-establish trade routes, to build partnerships, and to ensure that Scotland could stand on its own 2 feet. His rule brought about a sense of optimism, a beacon of hope for the Scots amidst the turmoil of war. His leadership was a testament to the fact that one could be both a warrior and a statesman, that one could fight for independence and also build a nation. It was a delicate balancing act, but Wallace managed it with remarkable skill. Wallace's rule was a beacon of hope for the Scots, but the war was still raging. The Scots fought bravely, and in the end, their efforts bore fruit. The war that had been raging for over 3 decades finally reached a conclusion in 1328 with the signing of the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton. This historic document recognized Scotland as an independent kingdom, a status that had been fought for tooth and nail by the Scottish people. The war had been costly, both in terms of lives lost and resources expended. The Scottish landscape bore the scars of the conflict, with many homes and fields laid to waste. Yet amidst the devastation, there was also a sense of relief, of triumph. The Scottish people had stood their ground against a formidable opponent, and they had emerged victorious. The aftermath of the war was a time of rebuilding and recovery. The Scottish people, under their rightful leaders, set about restoring their cities, rebuilding their homes, and replanting their fields. It was a time of renewal, a time to heal the wounds of war and to look forward to a future of peace and prosperity. The victory was significant, not just for the Scottish people, but also for the idea of independence. It was a testament to the power of a people united in their desire for sovereignty, for the right to rule themselves. The Scottish people had shown that they were not willing to be subjugated, that they would fight for their rights, for their freedom. The end of the war marked a new beginning for Scotland. No longer under the yoke of English rule, the Scottish people could now chart their own course, make their own decisions. It was a time of hope, a time of promise. The Scottish people had fought for their independence, and they had won. And thus, after 32 years of struggle and sacrifice, Scotland finally claimed its independence, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a people determined to be free.